Hi, Neil again. I'm on a survey in a property in Teesside this morning and found something quite interesting. Actually, it was one of these little things you come across and it keeps you on your toes. So it's a very, very nice bungalow. No significant damp issues. Been round, checked it. The previous surveyor hadn't really seen anything. They just commented it may be beneficial to get a further investigation on the subfloor timbers. So while I'm here, obviously I would do a damp inspection. So I've been round, generally everything's fine, but I came into this room. Now, I think what's interesting about this, I always stress to people the importance of using an electronic moisture meter correctly. So if you're going to use one, you know, obviously there's lots of debate, are they suitable or they're not. I think they're perfectly fine as long as you use them sensibly. So I came into this room, but what I do not just, I've seen so many surveyors come round and they'll skirt round the base of the walls with a moisture meter with the primary focus being on rising damp. You know, it happens all the time. We see it. They just get the meter on. But what I do is I'll scan from skirting board up to the highest point I can reach, which is around about 2.2 meters. And I just go up and down. You know, probably every 200-300 millimeters, I just walk around, scan up and down. So you're getting an idea of any moisture that isn't visible. So that's exactly what happened in this instance. Came into this, it's a partition wall between the dining room and the front lounge. So nothing really to see of any significance. But what I did when I scanned the wall, so if we start at the bottom and then come up, and there's nothing really of any, well, it'll help if I turn onto the right mode, wouldn't it? So start at the bottom, nothing of really any significance. And then we come up, and at a height of round about 900 mil, we start getting elevated readings. And then obviously from that point onwards, we're at a height of round about 1.5 here. If I move it away to the left, it drops off again, come back into that point, and now we're at a height of 1.4 meters here. Now if I carry on moving it across the surface of the wall, at some point it drops off again. Everything else, perfectly fine. Come back to that point, we've got a band of round about 500 millimeters where we're getting significant readings. Comes up, there you are again, hit it, go on 500 mil, drops off. Now, I must admit, initially I was kind of looking at it and thinking, what is it that's causing it? I picked up that there's a slight stain. Depends which way you catch it with the light. You may see, you may not, but you often see blemishes on plaster and it's of no concern. Anyway, the pattern of the readings, it literally rises from this point, midpoint, and then it goes up to just about 400 mil below ceiling level. So what I did, the obvious one that I thought, I've been outside looking at the roof, there's no evidence of any chimney stacks or flues. There's one in the centre of the property, but not one in this location. So what I did, came inside and popped the floorboard up. So I'm just wondering if I can get my light on here. Possibly not, but underneath the floor, I grabbed my torch. What I wanted to see is there any evidence of an old hearth in this location? And lo and behold, we've actually got exactly that. So it was purely on the basis that when I was using the meter, I was scanning from floor to as high as I can get, that I picked this up. In effect, what we've got is some salt damp. You can see it. Sometimes it depends on the light, I can see it and I can't. There's just a slight discoloration and it kind of runs up this point and then up towards ceiling height. So what we've got is a bit of salt damp. So that's obviously, salt contaminated plaster stemming from the old flue when they used to burn fossil fuels in there. But it just shows the importance. Now, this house is unoccupied at the moment. But so, you know, the heating isn't really in use. There's nobody living here. The moisture generation is very low. But it could well be you do a survey on a property such as this. The clients buy the house or they move into the property. Obviously, it depends on the lifestyle, how much water they generate. Then there's a good chance they will end up with intermittent damp patches in those locations. They then come back and say, you know, I paid you to do a damp survey. And obviously we've got a problem. We keep getting these damp patches appearing. So, you know, it's one of these, it's very, very important when we're using a meter, we use it properly. We scan, you know, as high as we can go, back down to floor level. We don't focus on the bottom 600 mil at the base of the wall, looking for rising damp. Because I'll raise this with the client at this moment in time, it's of no real concern. But there is a chance when they move in, they're going to find that it becomes more visible as it absorbs more moisture from the atmosphere, the salts, and it may well become more visible. The more I stand and look at it, the more I can see it. Because now that I've got my eye on it, when I first walked round without the lights on, there was nothing to see. But it just very much depends on how the lights cast onto it. So it's just a quick, you know, it's just to explain, when we're using a damp meter, we make sure that we actually scan, you know, and we do it logically from as low as we can get up to as high as we can get, because we'll pick up defects like this. On the opposite side of the wall, which is the lounge, there's absolutely nothing. There's nothing to detect. So it's puzzling. We've got this, you know, elevated readings on this side, nothing on the opposite side, but then that explains it. So I have been into the roof void. There's no evidence of it. They've lost obviously the flue altogether, but I can see where they've pieced some of the joinery in, which is where the chimney flue would have passed through the roof. So it just shows, you know, if you're using an electronic moisture meter, please be sensible with it. And I thought this might be helpful to, you know, younger surveyors starting out or the less experienced. Okay, I hope this helps. Take care now. Bye-bye.